Water, essential to all life on Earth. We need it in nearly every aspect of our daily life. Nowadays, private water use at home is only one factor compared to big industries which produce consumption articles, especially in the timber and mining industries in Mpumalanga, which use water and pollute a lot of water. As a result, there are many water use conflicts between different interests. Many civil society organizations work on solutions of these conflicts to benefit society and nature. They play an important role in underlining aspects which might be forgotten when there are only discussions between industry and government. Civil society organizations are not profit-orientated like industries and do not try to win elections like politicians. They have the best interests of the communities at heart. In Mpumalanga, different civil society organizations which deal with different water issues meet once a year at the Mpumalanga Water Caucus. This year, the fourth meeting was held on the 13th of September 2011 in Nelspruit in the Botanical Gardens. The Water Caucus is a platform for civil society organizations to share ideas, inform other organizations as to what is going on, and to meet the Department of Water Affairs by speaking as one voice. This year there were about 45 participants from Delmas, Witbank, Nkomazi and Bushbuck Ridge dealing with issues like mining, timber plantations, river systems, organic farming and traditional medicine. There was a big need for discussion regarding many topics.
We are overstressing our environment with the number of people that we have. We cannot expect to be able to live the way we did. We cannot expect to be able to support ourselves on as much ground as we had before, with as much water as we had before. We are going to have to learn to live, and I'm talking I'm talking about in my echelon of the community where we're the fat cats. We're going to have to learn to live on 90 litres of water a day. And most of the people that you are living with are living on what? 30 litres of water a day, 20 litres of water a day, because they have to cart it on a wheelbarrow. So somewhere in the middle is where we're going to have to go, and we're going to have to go to that level.
Timber plantations use vast amounts of water. If you calculate it, even using the least amount, 25 litres of water per tree per day, it will still utilize, you'll still need about 2 million litres of water to produce a single ton of pulp.
Because mining companies, as we know, they are mobile. They present themselves as though they work for charity. They come, they contaminate your water, affect your air quality, they affect the soil quality, so that you can't even grow vegetables.
We can see that timber plantation trees are having a dramatic impact on the rivers in our region, where this time of the year, rivers in Bushbuck Ridge, for instance, will go almost completely dry because the whole of the catchment is full of alien invasive trees.
They have to move the hospital and do other things there, because now really it's not only mining which is polluting, even the companies that are polluting the water.
The industry cannot employ everybody, but the problems that are going to cause are problems that are going to affect not only the 30 people that are employed by that particular mining company, but the whole community in the province of Mpumalanga.
They are destroying our life, because now it's mining, it's water, which the children, they don't know what is wrong and what is right. And that thing is unhealthy, because anytime they're going to get sick. And whose problem is it? It's not me, it's not who is the mine.
If the mine wants to mine, they must provide all their resources. There must be no externalized costs. So if they want water, they must bring their own water there. And they can leave that there when the mine finishes, and in 15 years' time, those water resources must be available for the community. And that is the way that you must think, is that the developers forget the jobs. It's difficult to forget the jobs, but you've got to look at what's going to happen with your children and your children's children.
I would love to encourage each and everybody from whichever organization that you come from, please go out and seek information.
This is what you should be looking at. Have you been informed? You cannot make a decision if you have not been fully informed. The problem is, you don't know if you haven't been fully informed.
The idea that maybe DMR and Environmental Affairs and Water Affairs should be funding a committee which can go to the communities where these developments are taking place to inform the people. Because it is necessary that people are properly informed, otherwise they cannot be expected to make the right kinds of decisions. And that part of properly informing, it's very much where we as civil society come in.
I wrote to the Department of Water Affairs 3 years ago, Adolf, to say that the White River was degraded, that it was polluted from the wastewater treatment plant, that we were getting E. coli down there that would kill communities, that there were people farming in the riverbed. And I said, don't fall in the river, because with the amount of bacteria in there and the poor services from the Department of Health, you will die very quickly. The only response I got was from the Department of Health, saying, don't you tell me that we give you bad service. I have no response from Water Affairs. I've had no response at all from anybody there.
Where are Department of Water Affairs there? What are you doing to protect our secret water, to protect our indigenous trees, to protect our dams and everywhere, except those dams that we issue the license from the mining companies and all the stuff?
The biggest challenge that we face, I do this thing for a living, I do this thing daily. The biggest challenge that we face, our officials, they are not willing to assist us.
We don't attack Water Affairs. We realize that we have to work together to solve these problems. That is why we have this meeting.
We should form partnership, because I remember in one meeting we had a huge argument about civil societies working together with government. We should not be seen that we are fighting the government. The only time we fight is when our concerns are not heard. There we should fight. But in initiating the discussions, we should be seen to be striving to bring justice and striving to bring unity amongst the community and the government. Because we must remember, in other cases, the very same government you're talking about, it's your brother at home, working for the very same department that you see as an enemy. So if we are going to have a relationship where civil societies are going to be seen as enemy of the state, we are not going to be assisted. We'll end up fighting and the community will suffer.
Be informed, fight for your information, and fight for the fact that you must have those documents that are affecting your lives must be available, that you can go back to them and you can say, you, Mr. Environmentalist, or you, Mr. Engineer, or you, Mr. Mine Manager, lied to us, and we want recompense.
In the second part of the meeting, the Department of Water Affairs, represented by the head of the department, Fanie, joined the meeting. He spent about 2 hours talking to civil society organizations. Fanie also benefited from the meeting, as he got the chance to illustrate the Department of Water Affairs' view on the problems.
The issue of mining is huge, but we've tried to intervene as a department. We've started the Breaksplat plant, in Mpumalanga, where we are collecting. Have you ever been to Mpumalanga?
There are people from Mpumalanga.
That situation is bad. We are collecting about 10 megaliters. But you might have seen some photos, but we didn't bring the photos. You will see children from the nearby, I think it's about less than a kilometer, where the water is coming up. Children are not aware. They go to the acid mine water, and they are playing there, washing themselves and doing all the kind of things. And that effluent is going straight to the river. I mean, if you go there in the morning, you can even take a shower with that water because it's warm. Now we went there with the Deputy Minister of Mineral Resources, who promised us funding to say they want to collect all that water now to our plant. Because the final effluent that we are treating currently, the 10 megaliters, is good quality water. Hence, we've started seeing some differences going down low scope in terms of the quality. It's changing. Because that quality, we started that plant, how long was it? About 6 to 8 or to a year now.
It's a year that's not fully
operational. Fully operational is about a year. Prior to that, that whole effluent was going straight to the river and straight to Losco. So we haven't dealt with the problem fully, but we have minimized the contamination. But we still need to do more to collect all that water. So Where we know there's a problem, we act swiftly. It might be areas where we cannot see, and that's where the Caucus group comes in, to say where you notify or you notice some non-compliance. If we can get those messages quickly to us, we will be able to act immediately. Some of us go home. If you go through a dust road, you'll take your car to the car washes that are all over Mpumalanga. They'll be washing your car with a pipe like this, using more than 150 liters to 200 liters. But when you get home, when you open your tap, there's no water. Then you say, you see, this government. But you're forgetting that you wasted the 200 liters there washing your car. How many of you are paying for water? Those who live in Caucus. They used to. Kamshushu have stopped about 3 years ago. They used to. No one in all those villages is paying for water. Now, how do you expect government to stand? Because that municipality is working on equitable share. The equitable share that was supposed to be fixing your pipes. The equitable share that was supposed to be buying the chemicals, dealing with the sewer everywhere. Some of us, we wake up in the morning, take a pipe, put it in our banana trees. We go to work. When the water comes, we're just watering our bananas. Some of us have evergreen loans, come winter or summer, evergreen loans. Why? I don't pay for the water. Now these teams that we want to put in the villages, they'll be monitoring the water conservation demand management. Those that are using high water.
You have to read this document in 30 days' time. Because they bring this document on 30 days' time, and then you have to go through this document within 30 days' time. And the language is only English. Afrikaans is available on request. So the challenge that we have is for one to understand this document. We need
to be simplified.
It's not simplified. And if you look at the context, the terminology, it's technical. It's too technical, and you cannot understand the document.
Johan, what can you say on that one? But that is legislation.
That is legislation, yeah. I think we probably apply our minds a little bit how they can
have
best a summarized version
of the document
and more simpler terms for the layman to understand what we're talking about and possible.
But that must be in the legislation. It's a change of legislation. Yeah. That must enforce that other languages must be involved and a simplified document must be issued. Let me go.
The meeting was successful, as there is now a register which can be used to facilitate communication between the different organizations. The Water Caucus had a chance to speak as one voice to the Department of Water Affairs and were taken seriously. In addition, each represented region forwarded names to serve on a committee which is responsible for keeping the process running. For example, a steering committee will be founded which educates people on how to use water effectively. The meeting was important to inform the communities involved because many don't know what is happening in their own surroundings. Whereas industry have financial backing in water use conflicts, communities need strong civil society organizations to represent their interests. Although there is a lot of water available in Mpumalanga, the resources are limited and in many places already vanished or completely polluted. It's a shame that in Mpumalanga, many people still don't have access to clean water. The Water Caucus is but one step in the right direction. Positive solutions such as the eradication of alien invasive vegetation are good solutions that must be implemented.